In this day and age, do you need a website? I'm going to say 100% yes, absolutely. Now, you may wonder, and as a question I got the other day is, well, if I have a YouTube channel, do I need a website? And I still believe you need a website, and I'm going to explain some reasons why and give you some options in this video. And by the way, my name's Kevin Colby. Nice to meet you. But as far as do you need one if you have a YouTube channel, it comes back to why do you have a YouTube channel? Now, there may be a lot of reasons. Like what I do is do videos on YouTube. I mean, I'm a solo content creator. YouTube is my only platform to create and teach and share on. I do have a newsletter, but other than that, this is what I do. I don't even do social media anymore. So, considering that this is my business, if you will, then yeah, I believe I need a website. And I've always believed that. Now, if you're doing YouTube just for fun, I've seen people say that they want to do it for legacy, that they want to do it to, be able to record thoughts and everything for their kids and their grandkids, which I think is amazing and one of the beauties to YouTube because it's free to use. So, you have to decide that. But if there's even a remote possibility that you're looking to earn a living or earn money, maybe it's just like some side money. I hate the word side hustle, but some side money. I think having a website is huge because one, it's a digital calling card. That's how I kind of like to look at it, that it gives me a place where somebody can go and find out a little bit more about me, maybe some of my offers, some videos I have on there, connect with me. There's even a contact form on there. I'll show you a little bit of my site here in a minute. But it's something that I have off of YouTube that I can link to. So it is a place for me to direct people to. In fact, for me, it's a lot easier if I'm a guest on a video podcast and somebody says, well, where can people find out more about you? I give them two locations. I give them my YouTube channel and my website. May not always be in that order, but the point is I don't want to say, well, connect with me here and here and here and here and here and here and here. It's, to me, it's kind of like going to a restaurant, like a burger place. One of my favorite places is Char Grill. And there's only so many things you can order there. They haven't deviated from that. But if I go there and there's like 100 things on the menu, it's like I'm so overwhelmed. I think it's that way about how can I get in touch with you? I do have two email addresses. One is personal, one is business. But again, I funnel everything through either my website, which also points back to my YouTube channel, or my YouTube channel. So I think if you're looking at a way for people to be able to find you, maybe off YouTube, and maybe you're doing other social media, and if you are, that's fine. I don't. But if you are, I think a website is like your digital calling card that makes it easy for somebody to find you and connect with you depending on what you're doing. The other thing is, you may have heard the phrase, don't build on rented land. And a lot of times, what that is talking about social media. Now, believe it or not, I still see businesses and even some churches, but more businesses and probably more small businesses, that if you ask them about their website, they send you to their Facebook page. I think that is so dangerous. Dangerous? Well, anyway, I think that is risky. How about that? And here's why. You don't control Facebook. In fact, you don't control any social media. You don't even control YouTube. Zuckerberg, or Zuck, as I like to call him, with Meta, Facebook, he could decide tomorrow that he wants to charge. He could decide tomorrow that Facebook pages aren't a thing anymore. Facebook not too long ago announced that live streams would be deleted after 30 days. And this is even on legacy accounts. And it didn't matter whether it was a group or a page or a profile. They were going to delete older live streams. I got 2 or 3 emails from Zuck and his team. And on top of that, any new live streams you did would be deleted after 30 days. And I've had a couple of churches reach out and say, hey, I'm so glad you shared that video. There is a video on my channel if you want to see more about it, because now they're scrambling to download all their live streams because they want to keep those. You know, anytime that you are sending somebody to your social media platform, especially if you consider that your website, all you're doing is promoting them. I heard this a long time ago at when I worked in television. I was at a conference, and there was a general manager. Actually, he was the president, I think, owner of this television group. He owned a lot of television stations, and at first I thought it was kind of a grumpy old man thing. He said, "No, no, I will not allow any of our stations to promote their presence on any social media because all you're doing is promoting that social media." And the more I got thinking about it, that's true. So if somebody says, "Hey, how can I connect with you or your business?" and you've built that on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, X, or LinkedIn, or name one, all you're really doing is promoting that platform. And guess what? It's one of the reasons I don't have a group that you can join on Facebook, because if you get there, there's all these other things you can do. So even if you are directing people to a Facebook page, yeah, I'm going to beat this dead horse. That is your quote website. Think about this. You send somebody there and they're like, well, let me check my friend request and let me do this and do this. And they may even forgot why they were there. You can't control social media. You can control your website. Now, I can hear the pushback saying, well, Kevin, if you're even having a website, at some point you're probably paying for that and somebody could take it away. That is true. But that's true of almost anything. Unless you can self-host, if you're smart enough to figure out how to create your own website and self-host it, look, kudos to you. I ain't that smart. So there's just no way I'm going to do that. But I do think it's easy to set up. So one of the things I look for when I've gone for a web host provider and everything like that, can they host it, and can I have it there? How easy is it to set up? What are the options? Do I need a degree in coding, which I ain't got, and how much flexibility is there? And then what other options there are. And that's kind of how I've gone into it. I also look at cost. Now, I want to share several options with you, including where my site is currently. There's pros and cons to all these. There's not a perfect site. And if you already have a website and you're happy with it, I'd leave it alone. But right now, let me show you this. My site is on a company called Payhip, and this is it right here. It's look, let's just be honest. I'm not gonna say this is a great looking site. I'm not gonna submit it for a website award, if there is such a thing. But this is my site, and one of the things I've done, and I change it from time to time, is I've just decided that my home page, this is my home page, has some photos I like. I love this one. There's a whole story behind that I won't get into. A little bit about me, and someplace you can sign up for my newsletter. So it's really simple. I also have a page on here for my coaching, which I can then send people to if I want to. You can book it right there. I have a section on here I call resources. You could call it whatever. There's a course on there. If I do other courses, it'll be there. There's a guide I've done. I talk about my books on here. There's merch. And there's freebies. So again, Payhip allows me to do all that. I have a link to my YouTube channel. I even have a contact form. So I make it very simple for somebody to contact me. All of this is built inside of Payhip. Now, I also have down at the bottom, this is called the footer. I have an affiliate disclosure. I should do that anyway, but legally you're supposed to, and even has something in there about Amazon. I have a section on here about tools. These are things that I use or have used that I recommend. A lot of these are affiliate links. And then gear. I even have a section on here about the gear I use. Now, I will say this, there are other hidden pages on here that I don't have listed, but I use those for different things. So even on Payhip and probably any site, I can create a page, like for example, my live streaming made easy book, my first book. There is a section that I created that if you buy the book, whether it's the PDF or the ebook or the print book, there's a special link that you can go to, and there's even additional resources that you get when you buy the book. That's a page on my website, but it's hidden. So again, the reason I like Payhip is because it's free. Now, there's a caveat to that. Payhip has 3 different platforms. And by the way, this video is not being sponsored by any of these sites. I can tell you the ones I've used and what I like and don't like. I just keep gravitating back to Payhip because there are a lot of limitations. And if you want to see a video about how I did my site, and I can take you back in to the, to the guts of it and show you how to set it up, let me know in the comments and I'll think about doing that video. But there's basic limitations. But there's 3 options, and it's basically free, and the other 2, you pay a little bit more. But what happens is Payhip is really a platform that's built for being able to offer digital products or coaching, or actually you can sell physical products on there as well. So what they do is they take more of a cut based on the platform you're on. I think right now for free, they take 5% of anything I sell. Now you may think that's a lot. Honestly, to me, I think it's pretty good. I mean, Patreon just recently went to 10% and other ones even charge more. So it's a trade-off. But the site I showed you is totally free. So in fact, I could never sell anything on there and I would be using the site for free. And I kind of like that. Again, it's a trade-off. Some other options I want to mention, Squarespace. I've used Squarespace on and off a couple of times. I got to say, I really like Squarespace. It can get pricey, so you always have to balance that. They have a lot more options there. Now, they also have some things that are add-ons. So they have email marketing that's part of Squarespace, but you have to pay extra for it. They have introduced online shops and things like that. And I've considered moving back to Squarespace. I think it's around $200 a year based on what you do. There is not a free plan on Squarespace. So if you're going to do it, you're going to have to pay something. One of the things I do like is you can do like link subdirects, meaning I could like do kevincolby.com/ whatever, Riverside, eCam, whatever, and it would send you to that site using my affiliate link. That's a small thing. If you don't understand what that means, don't worry about it. I probably went too deep there. But Squarespace is a viable option. And another thing I would look for too, and I forgot to mention this, is how mobile friendly it is. Because another one I'm going to mention isn't. You have to do some extra steps, and I hate that. So like even on Payhip, when you create a page, and I think Squarespace is the same way, you can look at it on desktop and mobile, or mobile, as I like to say. And I think that's really good to see what it does to your page. It's kind of like dynamic, what do they call it? Dynamic framing or something like that. Another option is Hostinger. Now, Hostinger I have been on before. Hostinger is kind of unique. Right now, all of my domains are hosted, if you will. When I buy a domain, like I own kevincolby.com, I own kevincolbymedia.com, I own a bunch of other ones. I used to use GoDaddy for that, just to buy the domains, and it was ridiculous. There was all these hidden fees, and trying to move away from GoDaddy was an absolute nightmare. So what I did is I realized, oh, wait a minute, Hostinger is just as competitive, and a lot of the things that GoDaddy paid or charged me extra for, I got free. Not free. I got rolled into the price on Hostinger. So I thought, at the time my site was also on Hostinger, so it just made sense to have everything together. Now, right now, all my domains are still bought and paid for through Hostinger, but I don't host on there, if that makes sense. And you can do that, which is another thing to think about is, you don't have to have a special custom domain. I do own kevincolby.com. When you go to my website, like here, you see right there, it says kevincolby.com. I own that URL, that domain. Now, you don't have to buy a domain, even though I'm a strong advocate of that as well. Like, so for example, if you use Payhip and use a free account, I think it's payhip dot whatever you call it. So if I didn't have one, it'd be payhip.kevincolby.com. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. Again, that's free what you get with it. Some sites do that. But let me talk about Hostinger again. Hostinger is really unique in a lot of ways. Now, they have their Hostinger side, and then they also do WordPress, which is a whole nother option. And I've had sites on WordPress before. So Hostinger, you can go in there and you can decide to do a site on Hostinger. They even have an AI builder. I found it just kind of to be okay. You can input all your information and it'll build the site for you. You and I would have the exact same looking sites, I think. I just thought it was okay, but it's highly customizable. And the same thing with Hostinger. Even if you don't use their AI builder, there's themes on there you can use. And so it is a lot of cool things in there. But you can also do a Hostinger account and do WordPress if you want to, which is nice. And you get the same WordPress option in there. Now, one of the things I did like about Hostinger when I was on there, I was on the plan, and it was the first year isn't bad. Then when it goes to renew, it goes up. But I was on a plan where I could have up to 100 sites. And so sometimes what I would do is I would just spin off a site just to test something. I didn't want to mess up my core site, so I would just do that. And it'd be like, oh, I like that. Oh, I don't like that. In fact, I did this when I launched something called the Video Resource Hub a year or so ago. I've since shut it down. And I actually built that. I was on Hostinger at the time. So kevincolby.com was on the Hostinger side. And on the WordPress side, which you can do, is what I built, videoresourcehub.com. So again, that's an option if you want to do that. It may be a little overkill. Hostinger has a lot of cool options, and they keep expanding. They've just added email as well. I think there is an extra charge for that. Something else I look for too that I failed to mention is support. Payhip, I can usually get an answer within 24 hours, sometimes faster. And they're very responsive. They own up to what they can't do. They've offered suggestions. Squarespace was really hit and miss, and Hostinger support is okay. Now, a lot of these guys have gone to AI bots, which it drives me nuts. I want to talk to a real person. I don't want to talk to an AI bot and have it after go bounce round and round and round. It goes, well, let me just send you over to a real person. It's like, why didn't you do that to begin with? There's my rant. What I found though is Hostinger was okay, their support, unless it was on the WordPress side. And a lot of times they would say, well, you just got to figure it out because we only just provide it as a service. I thought that was kind of So those are some options that I have used, and I would still use Hostinger, and I would still recommend Payhip, and I'd still recommend Squarespace. Now, there's also other things like StanStore. Now, StanStore, if you haven't seen it, it's kind of one of these that's built for like maybe quick links type of things. It does cost. I think, I don't know, maybe there is a free plan, but there's a couple of plans. I looked at it. I wasn't that enthralled with it, but I know a lot of people do it. And there's also another one called Card, and it's CARRD. It is very simplistic. And again, it has a free plan. Some of these sites are made more for mobile than anything else. Now, another option is a place like Kit. So like right now, my email newsletter is on Kit. It used to be ConvertKit. And even though it is an email first platform, you could actually use it for your website because there's things on there you can do, like you can offer digital products, you can offer free things. It can kind of be a quasi blog with your newsletter. So, and you could even have a custom domain. So like mine right now, I think it's kit.kevin-colby.com. I don't like the dash, but somebody else had already taken my name. How dare they? But I can redirect that. So there is an option to have my email provider be my website. And I've thought about that before. I can't say that one day you won't click on there and that's my website. Now, another option is something like link in bio, but there's a site I have called BioLink. I think it's bio.link. And it's actually from the company that does Buy Me a Coffee, which is another option as well. So BioLink is just what it is. It's just, think of it as simple links that then you could go to your YouTube channel or your podcast, or if you have digital products, or maybe you have books on Amazon, whatever you want to link it to, you could do that. Very simple. There's some themes you can choose, but you're not going to get a lot there. But again, maybe that's all you need, and you can add a custom domain too. But I mentioned Buy Me a Coffee, which, by the way, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee site. If you want to buy me a coffee, that's great, but don't feel any obligation to do that. But yeah, you could use a site like Buy Me a Coffee. There's Ko-fi, and there's other ones like that. You could use that as a website as well. There are limitations to those, a lot more than I think just having a website. So if you have a YouTube channel and you have a website, or you're going to have a website and you want people to go to your website for whatever reason, don't make it hard for somebody to find it. Yes, you can put it in your description, and yes, you can make that link clickable, and I've done a video on that. You ought to check that out. But that's also assuming people are going and reading our descriptions. To me, this is the best place to put it. All right, so right now we're looking at my YouTube channel, and right here, There's the link to my site right there. I don't want to make it too hard to find it. If you click on the more, there's a little thing about the channel. There it is right here. So this link is this link right here. And I've done a whole video where I show you how to do this. But if I click on this, look what happens. It's going to take you to my website, which again, if you're interested in talking to me and you're a business or you have an idea you want to pitch, there's the contact form. I don't make it hard to get here. Either way, there or there. The mistake I see is people put every one of their social media things there. And you can actually have 14 links here. Great googly moogly, why would you want to have that many? So if you have a website and it's connected to your YouTube channel, don't make it hard for somebody to find it. So that's why I think it's very important to have a website. And yeah, there are a ton of options out there. It's easy to get overwhelmed. I would go for something maybe it's affordable, that's easy to use and get up and going. And if you don't really know what you want to do, you can always just put a picture of yourself and say, "Hi, I'm Kevin. I make videos on YouTube. Welcome." It doesn't have to be crazy and you can add to it later, but I'm telling you, it is a great way for people to find you on and off YouTube. You can do that type of thing. So, hey, I hope this helps you do something, even on a website and especially with video as well. I'm Kevin. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.